Hey everyone, it's Kellen Brower from RacerX, back again with another race examination video where we're going to look back at a couple of the key points from Minneapolis and talk about them. I want to start off by talking about Jason Anderson out of the first corner and a little tire tap he did on the 353 through the first section, because I think it's really techie and kind of ballsy to do in front of the whole field. So you see he takes off right here, and Sexton next to him is only going to double, but Anderson kind of like tire taps with both wheels the very top of that 5-foot single and is able to downside into the next section. And I mean, he's got 20 riders right behind him, so if he gets that a little bit wrong, goes over the bars, he's got the whole field behind him. Kind of ballsy, so I wanted to point it out real quick and just talk about how cool that was. But of course, the talking point from Minneapolis was this crash out of Chase Sexton, leading the race with 2 to go, comes out of the corner, front wheel slides, and then augers into the face of the next jump after the front wheel kicks him over and high sides over the top of the jump. Jason Anderson just narrowly avoided him as well, and it was a vicious crash, obviously, for Sexton. Bent the front wheel, so there's some speculation about that and what happened there. But let's hear what Sexton had to say about it.
I mean, by the time I knew the front end was going,
yep,
I was already going off the jump. So there was no reaction to what was going to happen because it happened so fast, and I hadn't had like I said, I was 20 laps in, 20 minutes into the race. I hadn't had that. It hadn't happened before that, so I wasn't expecting it. And yeah, it was. I wish honestly, if it would have just slid off the face, and like you said, I would have fell. Like obviously, I would have fell over, but I at least could have got to a podium or something. I mean, not pretty much a DNF. I mean, I did DNF, but I ended up 16th because it was that late in the race.
So just quickly dissecting the crash, you can see the rut ends right here, and after it is nothing but blue groove. So the second Sexton comes out of the rut, he's already starting to low side, which means all his momentum is falling to the inside of the track. And at that point, the bike is pretty much gone. Like, he's going to slide out. Augers into the face of this jump here with the front tire, and you can see that's obviously where it gets bent. It just grabs and hooks him over the face of the next jump. Pretty remarkable how far he flies up to this tabletop and actually gets his arms out a little bit to kind of cushion his impact, but still pretty tough one to swallow right there. But this isn't the first time in the last few years that we've seen this kind of front end slide to auger in the next jump face. Blake Baggett here in 2020 at Anaheim trying to pass Ken Roczen for the lead. Front end slides into this little berm right here and actually bent the front wheel there as well. So bending the front wheel is not uncommon when you have these little like kind of slides into the face of a jump. And then Sexton himself last year exiting the sand at Houston, kind of a similar crash. Again, the front end kind of sliding out of the corner, and he just kind of went over the top of the jump right there. But as you can see, I mean, the front tire was completely bent, so there wasn't even a chance that if he could have gotten up and continued on that he was going to be able to. It wasn't going to roll anymore. So Sexton was able to walk off under his own power. He is now in concussion protocol, so he's got to pass a few tests before he would race this weekend in Arlington, but good to see he was able to get up and walk away from this one. But back to more of the racing action and some more of the traction drama surrounding this loose soil in Minneapolis. It's always a little bit kind of deceiving where it's like a harder base under this loose topsoil, and Malcolm Stewart was bit while running in third place as he lands off this Supercross triple. So again, kind of with the Sexton thing, again, the second Stewart lands here, he's already starting to low side of the inside. The front tire slides out, and you're pretty much gone at that point. There's almost nothing you can do to save it. Even Stewart here dabs his foot, which Sexton was unable to do, and it doesn't help him at all. He just slides out from there and hits the ground. Obviously, the biggest benefactor from this, though, was Jason Anderson, who, sitting in second place for much of the race, just kind of gets gifted a main event victory, now closes up to 3 back of Tomac in the championship as we head into the second Triple Crown in Arlington. I want to remind everybody that this video is presented by onX Off-Road. Know where to go with the #1 off-road GPS app, access 500,000 plus miles of trails and roads, open dates, and public lands. Download the onX Off-Road app today. Moving on to the 250 class, and just a couple things that I wanted to break down from this 250 main event in Minneapolis. First of all, the start, which Austin Forkner is able to come through and get the whole shot on his Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki, and I wanted to highlight why I think that happened. So first of all, out of the gate, you can see him and Styles Robertson are pretty much side by side, but there's this little jump about like 8-9 feet out of the gate that these guys have to go over, and I like when they include something like this because it adds a little bit more technical ability off the start. So you can see Forkner kind of stands up over that jump and pushes the bike down and pushes that rear tire onto the ground, whereas Robertson next to him, who also had a good start, doesn't do that. So Forkner gets a little bit more traction to that rear tire, out drags Robertson to the corner. Now he does run the first corner a little bit deep, and you can see guys like Jett Lawrence sneaks up the inside right here and makes it a little bit closer than it probably should have been. But I like that start technique out of Forkner, using the advantage of that little drop down off the gate to his advantage, pushing the rear tire to the ground and coming out with the whole shot. A few laps in though, Jett Lawrence would make this pass on Austin Forkner Forkner for the race lead. And I kind of wanted to highlight it just because I think it's a really nice racing pass by Jett Lawrence. Oftentimes in this 250 class, you see guys either rush a pass or make a little bit too much contact, but Lawrence here kind of picks his spot. He knew that he was going to be able to come down the inside with Forkner going outside in this on-off, and it looks really close, but there's actually no contact whatsoever, and then Lawrence just kind of gets a little bit better drive up onto this table and off of it, just enough so to cut across and block Forkner going into the next corner. Nice pass, and that was kind of the difference because Lawrence would pretty much take off from there. He would only win by a few seconds in the end, but maybe if Forkner keeps ahead of him in the early runnings, maybe it's a little bit different race for both of them. But in the end, of course, Lawrence takes the win. He'll have that red plate going in Arlington this weekend. Forkner ends up second, McAdoo in third, and we're heading into round 2 of the 250 East.